Representative Paul Gosar is getting a lot of pushback after tweeting out an edited anime video depicting him killing Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, the video, of course, is taken from an anime Attack on Titan and depicts Gosar, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert as heroes, which is interesting if you know anything about Attack on Titan. And, they're the heroes, and they're taking down the mindless Titans with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's face superimposed on one and Biden's face on another. So now, so far, he's been called out by a mix of Democrats and a few Republicans. Okay, so now first I want to go with some congressmen. Eric Swalwell. So he said this: "Happy Monday in America, where GOP leader McCarthy's colleague just posted a video of himself swinging two swords at President Biden." Where's the mention of AOC there? Swalwell said in the tweet, "These bloodthirsty losers are more comfortable with violence than voting. Keep exposing them." Okay. Representative Ted Lieu also denounced the video, arguing that in any workplace in America, if a coworker made an anime video killing another coworker, that person would be fired. This is sick behavior from Representative Gosar. You have House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She called on the House Ethics Committee to investigate the tweet. What is there to investigate? It's gross. Maybe you should actually do something. Something. Censure him. Do a vote. There's got to be some rules there. I mean, Democrats are obsessed with the process. Use the process. Try to use the process. Okay. There's more. She said, "Threats of violence against members of Congress and the President of the United States must not be tolerated." That's Democrats. Here's Republican Adam Kinzinger. He said, "This will who said this will continue. Of course, GOP and GOP leader can condemn this proactively, not some sidestepping comment when asked about it. They won't. The armpit farting of our politics is why we are failing the people." Okay, I like that, the armpit farting. That's pretty, actually. Then you have Morning Republican Joe, who I guess is technically an independent now. Here's what he said. He actually had a really interesting discussion on this. Look.
If anybody had done this when I was in Congress, anybody, we would have called to censor this person, to get them kicked off of the committees, possibly expel them from Congress. I can't even imagine the reaction if the most conservative or the most liberal of liberals attacked somebody else in the chamber this way. Their career would be over. What does Kevin McCarthy say? Absolutely nothing. What is Steve Scalise, for God's sake? What is Steve Scalise? A guy that got shot because of hatred.
He knows how horrible it is.
Has he said anything about Gosar?
Fuck no, he hasn't. Steve Scalise. Now understand, Steve Scalise, okay? He was shot by a deranged Bernie Sanders supporter. Now, I love Bernie Sanders. I voted for Bernie Sanders, supported him in the primary twice. He's grandpa. Okay. Now, Bernie Sanders, when that happened, when he found out, he was like, oh my God. He condemned it. And we all condemned it here on the left because, look, that's not who we are. Okay, we don't support violence. Now, Bernie Sanders, this was a statement, by the way. He said, "I have just been informed that the alleged shooter at the Republican baseball practice is someone who apparently volunteered on my presidential campaign. I am sickened by this despicable act. Let me be as clear as I can be. Violence of any kind is unacceptable in our society, and I condemn this action in the strongest possible terms. Real change can only come about through nonviolent action, and anything else runs against our most deeply held American values." So, look, that was on violence. Of course, he also called out threats from some of his own supporters. You know the whole Bernie bro narrative. Now, look, were there a few shitlords? Yeah. Yeah, of course, there's shitlords in every campaign. Look at the K-Hive. Worse. Even worse. Way, way worse. But nonetheless, he called them out. And the media, of course, focused on that. Non-stop articles about, oh, Bernie bros, it's so sexist, misogynist. Not true at all. Complete and utter bullshit. By the way, Bernie Sanders defended Ann Coulter, of all people, right? So now she was going to appear at the University of California, and so she was getting threats and she was getting protested. I think it's totally fine that she go and speak. She has horrible ideas, but you know how you challenge those horrible ideas? You basically make her look stupid in front of a crowd. And that's really easy to do because white nationalists, white supremacists are really dumb. They're really stupid. Okay, but anyway, so now here's what Bernie says. Obviously, Ann Coulter's outrageous to my mind, off the wall, but you know people have a right to give their 2 cents worth, give a speech without fear of violence and intimidation. Now, again, he also condemned the people who had tweeted out terrible things, saying, if there's a few people who make ugly remarks, and this is after saying 99.9% of my followers are just good people. There are a few people who make ugly remarks, who attack trade union leaders. I disown those people. They are not part of our movement. And so the entire Bernie Sanders movement was supposed to be about getting people together and actually getting us to give a shit about each other, not me, us. And so I try to make it a point to live like that. But Bernie aside, right, that's an example of coming out and saying something. Now, of course, Bernie Sanders still told by, corporate media that, oh, you're not doing enough about the Bernie bros, toxicity, whatever. But here's the thing, right? So where Bernie Sanders did right, Paul Gosar is doing wrong. Gosar is actively encouraging, and I would say the rest of the most of the Republican Party, they're encouraging people to go out there and make threats against politicians they don't like. AOC, Ilhan Omar, Nancy Pelosi. Again, this is just a couple of the people that they tried to target during the January 6th insurrection. And so, again, Sanders, as I pointed out, went out of his way to condemn political violence because that is not who we are. But MAGA Republicans, again, crickets, right? So now, I got one more video to show you on this. And this was the Morning Joe conversation here. So again, this is the conversation that's being had on mainstream media. And Willie Geist is going to say something so preposterously stupid that Joe Scarborough is going to immediately jump in to correct him.
I think a lot of these leaders, starting with Donald Trump down, they don't appreciate the power of their words. They don't appreciate the people who are receiving those words. I think
they do, and they don't
and
care.
how their people who follow them will interpret those words, possibly in very dangerous ways.
I think they do appreciate the power of their words, and I think they understand that violence is a result of it, and I think they cheer on that violence like Donald Trump did on January the 6th, if you believe Ben Sass, who said Trump was sitting there in front of his TV set cheering on the protesters and angry that he was being asked to stop it.
Yeah, well, that makes it twice as bad.
Willie Geist, how the fuck can you still give these people the benefit of the doubt? I mean, as much as I don't agree with his politics, Joe Scarborough, he seems to actually be able to use his brain. He's capable of rational, critical thinking. He knows. And again, this guy was a Republican, had served in Congress. They know, but they don't care. Now understand that these people are feeding their base. Now remember, conservatives have been fed a steady diet of propaganda for at least the last 40 years, possibly more. You know what that is? I mean, you turn on conservative media. Democrats hate you. They want to kill the babies in the womb. They want the illegals to take your job, black men to come fuck your wife, where they force feminize you and drink your children's blood for Satan. That's what they want to do. Why don't you hate them? Don't you want to go and pick up your gun? Don't you want to do Second Amendment solutions? Is that because if you don't, I mean, there's an invasion. They're coming for you. That's it. That's the rhetoric. Look, this is why QAnon has become mainstream in the Republican Party. And this is a part of that. The dehumanization of people, of their political opponents. This is what happens. I mean, and the reason that they do that, by the way, because this is coming from on high, okay? The Republican Party needs the culture war to sustain it because they cannot win on economic issues. Now, look, the Democratic establishment, by the way, benefits from this arrangement. Why? Because they look at the Republicans and say, oh my God, these people are insane. You can't vote for these guys. Now, unfortunately, the Americans will look at this, a lot of people, and go, yeah, you're right, they are crazy. But what happens when you get into power? Nothing materially changes. Nothing has fundamentally changed. I got to do something. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, people who are desperate economically, might end up choosing an authoritarian who promises to get the trains running on time. That sucks. That sucks. And Democrats need to learn that lesson and start actually working to materially benefit their constituents, the rest of the country, the entire country, and working on good economic issues. They can't keep running the Clinton playbook. Even though we can see the right wing has openly embraced fascism, Democrats want to play nice. But again, they've gotten more extreme, and Paul Gosar is a great example of that. One more video here on Gosar, and this is Paul Gosar's sister, Jennifer, who is speaking out. Take a look.
What is wrong with him, and is it getting worse?
Yes, it's getting worse because he has not been held accountable in any way, shape, or form. He's not been censured. He's not been expelled. And he's not had his seat forfeited by any of the leadership. And by that, I don't mean to specify Minority Leader McCarthy and McConnell. I do mean Speaker Nancy Pelosi. I do mean Senate Leader Chuck Schumer. I do mean Attorney General Merrick Garland. I mean, where are these people? Does he need to act on his sociopathic fantasy for Representative Ocasio-Cortez? I am very concerned for she and other members, and this is absolutely unacceptable. I do not understand it, and I'm livid, Lawrence.
She's right. Where are they? Where are they? Where's Merrick Garland? Where's Merrick Garland? He seems to be kind of MIA here. Not just on this, by the way, on a lot of things. Steve Bannon. Why is Steve Bannon still free? What about January 6th? Where's the accountability? Okay? You know what? Unfortunately, it's not going to come from Congress. Certainly not from Republican leadership. Again, they don't care. AOC is right. They will do nothing because they have never done anything. And they'll forget about this in a couple of days and they'll move on. And I hope this does not happen, but if somebody, God forbid, assaults her or Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, or any other member of Congress, with like a weapon as a result of the rhetoric, well, they're going to act like, oh my God, I'm surprised. Who could have seen this one coming? Why didn't we see this coming? Well, you did see it coming, and you ignored it because you secretly agree with them because you're nothing but a bunch of fascists. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.